There's a crib, books to read at bedtime, toys, items Greg Johns rushed to buy when he found out he was a father. He has a nursery ready, but no baby sleeps in it.
I'm already a father, I'm just looking to be a daddy.
In April 2011, Johns discovered he had a 6-month-old baby boy. A mutual acquaintance told Johns his ex-girlfriend had a baby and put it up for adoption. He confronted her and found out the truth.
The emotions of anger, sadness, the joy of being a father, I mean, I had all that compacted into like a 5-minute conversation. By her just saying, you have no rights, I just kept thinking, what is she talking about? I'm the father.
He discovered Christian Adoption Services in Matthews had placed the baby, whom Greg has named Chase, with a family in the Triad. Johns has spent the past year and nearly $100,000 in court fighting for the right to intervene in the adoption. Last month, a judge in Charlotte denied that request.
It sounds certainly unfair and unjust, and that the law is not being applied favorably in his case.
Family law attorney Jason Minicozy does not represent Johns, but is familiar with adoption laws. Johns got a paternity test showing he is the father, which Minicozy says should be enough to intervene.
We would think that the court would be inclined to allow that person to intervene in the matter and be heard on whether or not their parental rights should be terminated or whether or not their child should be adopted by another party.
Johns has paperwork from Christian Adoption Services that shows his name was on the paperwork, but someone scribbled out the last name and put a fake name in its place. The agency says it tried to notify a Gregory James to no avail.
I still can't believe that this was even notarized when the last name was crossed off, and then someone else's handwriting is there.
The clock is ticking. Johns has an 18-month-old son he's never met. To say he is frustrated in the legal system is an understatement. The Charlotte judge ruled that because Johns wasn't there from the beginning, he has no rights.
I've used that anger in the right way, motivation to not give up, to know that I do have a beautiful baby boy, to know that one day he will know the truth, one day I will have custody of him, because I won't stop. And he'll know the truth. And he'll know his father did everything possible to love him.
Now all Johns can do is appeal, but money is running low.
In this justice system today, you really need to have money to have your rights protected, because it's the game within a game. You have to have money to go. You have to keep appealing, and you have to go as high up as you can.
Or until the money runs out. That is why Johns created this Facebook page, A Father's Chase, in hopes of getting monetary and emotional support and to spread the word as he tries to bring his little boy home. In Wilmington, Marcy Cuevas, WWAY News Channel 3.
And it's a shame. It is such a shame that someone had to die.
Guilt, remorse, sadness. That's what the woman we'll call Jane is going through right now. She was engaged to Keith Waters many years ago. It was a relationship that often turned violent.
I put all this behind me and totally just pretended like it never happened till I got that phone call last night. And then it all come rushing back. And then I began to feel horrible, because I don't want them to let him out.
Jane says there's no doubt Waters has some mental issues as well as problems with drugs and alcohol, but at the same time, he's also a good actor.
He knows how to play the part. He knows how to play the game. He's been through so many rehabs. He knows how to answer all the questions. And he can look you in the eye and make you believe him, because that's just how charming he can be.
Jane left Waters but kept going back to him. She filed restraining orders but later dropped them. She says when he threatened to kill her, she finally left for good.
I got away with my life. I got away with my life, and I could have cared less about him. I just was thankful that I got away. But I'm just sorry that Kate did it.
Now Jane is troubled that she did not do more to stop him. That is why she's coming forward now.
Don't let him fool you. Don't let him fool them, please. Please, he'll just do it again and destroy someone else's life. That's the only reason I want
say something.
74-year-old Ted Rogers learned about steaming, pressing, and folding at a young age. He was just a kid when his parents opened Ideal Cleaners in 1945.
At the time, World War II, we couldn't get fuel oil or coal, so we were using slab wood, feeding the boiler. That was one of my first jobs.
Back then, he earned 13.5 cents an hour.
I was a happy camper until I found that out.
Times changed, work got a little easier. Then Rogers bought the cleaners from his father in 1971. The business went through a tough time in the 70s when polyester became popular, but they pressed on. But now this latest economic downturn has taken its toll.
Naturally, anytime you have a downturn like this, one of the first things you can do without is dry cleaning.
Plus, the price of fuel has gone up dramatically.
I was paying probably anywhere from $400 to $600 a month before things started jumping. Now, this the past month, $1,500.
Staying open is no longer an option.
I can't make it.
Rogers is ready to retire, but he gets choked up thinking of those he's leaving behind.
My help and the employees and customers. They have been real good.
Employees like Tamika Chappell, who has managed the cleaners for the past 5 years.
I cried. I cried. I did.
These machines will run for the final time on April 6th. The business officially closes the following day. In Elizabethtown, Marcy Cuevas, WWAY News Channel 3. He may be 92 years old, but Morton Salk still gets choked up when he talks about why he enlisted in the military.
Pay back at least a part of the gratitude I have for what they did, what this country did for my parents.
The son of Russian immigrants, Salk proudly entered the Air Force. During World War II, he was there on the front lines as a bombardier, but it was by chance that he wound up on a mission to bomb an airfield in Hankow, China, which was already taken over by the Japanese.
Bombardier, who would normally have flown that mission, was sick, not able to fly. And when he asked me if I would go, I said, of course I would, I'd love to.
Salk was in one of 7 planes that left that morning. This painting depicts the battle Salk and his comrades fought once the Japanese realized they were under attack. The pilot of Salk's plane was fatally wounded. The co-pilot had shrapnel in his face, lost consciousness, and couldn't fly. 9 people on a plane with no one in control.
Someone had to fly it. So I got into the left seat and used those 2 hours of on-the-job training.
Just 2 hours of training now being put to use.
First thing was just to keep it in the air, obviously. And the second thing was find out where we were, because during this firefight of 45 minutes, we didn't know where we were.
Not to mention the added complication of a damaged fuel line causing hydraulic fuel to spew into the plane. After about 20 minutes, though, the co-pilot recovered enough to take over and they landed safely. 4 of the other planes did not. Over the years, Salk never thought much about what he did that day. Then, a year ago, while family was in town, Salk relived that battle.
They said, by God, you ought to get the Medal of Honor for that. I said, well, I don't know. I don't think so. Anyhow, they took it seriously.
Family members wrote letters to lawmakers. Friends, like Bernie Malman, also got involved.
He saved 9 people, saved the plane, and came out alive.
But there's a roadblock.
Oh, I don't have any eyewitnesses, but at some point, logic should take over.
But the whole windup is there's no one alive to substantiate what he did.
Not surprising, since only a handful of people survived the mission, a mission that took place 68 years ago.
Senator Kay Hagan was notified of the effort to get Salk the Medal of Honor. On Monday, he received this letter of commendation from her office.
It will go along with some of the other medals and accolades he received during his 27 years in the service, but something is still missing.
If we can't get the Medal of Honor, at least a Distinguished Flying Medal, the Air Force Cross, something to give this 92-year-old World War II hero some recognition for what he did.
A medal to honor a hero, an honor many feel is long overdue. In Wilmington, Marcy Cuevas, WWAY News Channel 3. Not far from Laney High School, debris litters the shoulder of North College Road, the only sign that a deadly car accident ever happened here. Killed in the wreck, a woman who was a mother, a grandmother, and longtime school teacher, 62-year-old Linda Aiello.
One of the very best ones that I know of in the school. I mean, she's just, what can you say? It's a loss. It's a loss to all the children, especially, you know, not only mine, but the ones that come after mine.
Aiello spent 22 years teaching at Wrightsboro Elementary School. During her tenure, she taught 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. Affectionately known as Miss A, she had spent the last 2 years teaching 3rd graders, students who may now need a little support.
I was so upset, but I didn't want to cry because I didn't want other people to see me crying because other people didn't know.
Many staff members did not know what happened until they got to work. That's when they learned about the crash.
The accident happened just a few hundred feet from the North Chase Parkway. The Highway Patrol says another driver crossed the center line and hit Aiello.
The other driver, Michael Gillespie, was not seriously injured, but moments after that crash, another driver came along and hit Aiello's car. She later died at the hospital.
Certainly this community is kind of reeling with shock and grief right now.
That's why counselors were at Wrightsboro Elementary Tuesday and will remain there as long as they are needed.
She gave us candy when we did well. She told us funny stories about what happened in our life. She read us funny books. She was the best teacher you could ask for.
In New Hanover County, Marcy Cuevas, WWAY News Channel 3. The Brunswick nuclear plant is not far from the Atlantic Ocean. At times, migrating sea turtles make their way onto the property. This time, it had deadly consequences.
But it's the filtration racks that are designed to block trash from getting into the cooling water, but sometimes they catch turtles or other fish and other wildlife, and this is an example of one where an endangered sea turtle was actually killed.
The plant found not one, but 3 green sea turtles dead in the intake canal last week. Tom Clements with the Alliance for Nuclear Accountability learned about the first death via an email from the plant on the Nuclear Regulatory Commission's website.
Some of these things don't reach the public except if you go searching for them.
Clements hopes the death of this sea turtle will lead to some changes here at the Brunswick nuclear plant, which may already be happening. In a statement, Progress Energy Communications Specialist Ryan Mosier said a number of constructed barriers are in place at the entrance to the canal that provides cooling water for plant operations. These barriers help prevent marine life from entering the waterway. It is unusual for us to find this number of small turtles in the canal, and we have taken measures to bolster the barriers that prevent them from coming in contact with plant operations. In Southport, Marcy Cuevas, WWAY News Channel 3.